us. Are you happy with how Ireland progressed the World Cup? Or?
I think, we had a couple of big performances. We talked about consistency, and I think the consistency in the general team play, was pretty good. Even in the Wales game, we actually didn't play that badly. They just played a lot better than us on the day. They played right to their potential, and we talked about being consistent and not sort of playing within sort of 10 or 15% of your very, very best, and I think we weren't far off that. Just unfortunately Wales on the day probably did their homework. They shut us down in the right areas and caused us a lot of problems, and we just really struggled. We give away 3 soft tries. We rarely concede a try, and all of a sudden we conceded 3 in a quarter final of World Cup, and that's probably the big disappointment for us. Not in the end, as the scoreline suggests, was the difference.
And then moving forward to Six Nations, there are obviously plenty of positives to take, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The way certainly our back row performed the whole way through it. It's it's great to see, especially whenever those boys will all have at least another World Cup in them. They're all sort of under 20. Jamie's the oldest at 27 or 28, and the other 2 boys are only kids really. And it's really encouraging from that point of view. Our set piece really performed on the big stage, and it's something now. If you want to win the Six Nations, you need to be solid in your set piece. Your pack need to perform, and there's no doubt if we can get ball to our backs, it'll do some damage. So I think there's plenty to be optimistic about. We'll not be getting too carried away as usual, but come the start of February, we'll be hopefully in a good place with very few injuries. We'll have as good a chance as anyone, I think.
You mentioned the back row performance so well there. It must be great to have Stephen Ferris back in the mix.
It is. It's great to see him playing. He's come through a lot at the tail end of last season. To come back in and then to have those couple of injuries to David Wallace, and all of a sudden, instead of him being sort of drip fed back into the team, he's playing 80 minutes. I think he started off with a 30, and then it's just basically been 80 minutes ever since. And it's great for him that the knees responded so well to the work that the boys have done off the pitch and that he's done off the pitch last year, and hopefully his fitness will continue to be good, and he's there. There's no doubt that he's had a really good run of form, and it'll be great now to see him doing that in an Ulster shirt. He's done it in an Ireland shirt in the World Cup. There's no doubt he was one of Ireland's standout players, and like I say, hopefully now Friday nights at Ravenhill we'll see Stevie back to his best.
And you battled through the pain to make the quarter final game. How's his shoulder feeling now?
It's not too bad. The Ulster medical staff have assessed it and stuff, and the difficult thing that they have told me that the AC tends to respond very, very quickly, but then it'll plateau and then it'll eventually get a bit better again, and at the minute I feel like it's sort of plateauing. It doesn't really seem to be getting any better, any worse.
Did you keep a track of Ulster's progress while you were away?
Yeah, we did. We were obviously, the time difference didn't really lend itself to being able to see any of the games, but through sort of all your social medias, we were able to keep up to date with the scores. We wake up in the morning to find out how they did, and it was a really, really encouraging start in the pre-season to beat Harlequins the way they did and the manner they did was really, really encouraging. And the first 3 games in the Pro Direct was it was brilliant. They really started well, and it was just a pity that Wales isn't a very easy place to go at the best of times, and to go there with a couple of injuries to key players, it was always going to be tough. And I suppose the confidence probably just took a bit of a knock in the 2 games away in Wales, and it was just a pity that I suppose the boys will say themselves they probably didn't perform as well as they could against Treviso. But the key thing is that we've got ourselves in a decent position. We're mid-table. Nothing is ever won or lost in September and October. So the big thing now is that we really push ahead. We have sort of 4 or 5 really, really important games coming up over the next month, 6 weeks, and now what's gone during the World Cup, either through Ireland, South Africa or Ulster, is in the past now. We're now a completely different squad, so it's time to push forward and hopefully get on to a bit of a run of wins.
And take the experience you picked up from the World Cup and the other guys did as well, will that benefit Ulster in the long run?
I think so. At the end of the day, you're playing in the greatest rugby competition there is. You could argue that Lions tours are maybe the highlight of a player's career, but in terms of a worldwide audience, a worldwide everything, the Rugby World Cup is where it's at. Everyone wants to be a part of it, and it's the pinnacle of anyone's rugby career, in my opinion. And the boys, certainly the Irish boys, have learnt a lot in victory as well as defeat, and the South Africans, there's no doubt that they're a wee bit the same as us. They came through a difficult pool, in really good form, and all of a sudden, a poorish game against Australia, and they're on the playing home with us. But in terms of a learning curve, the Rugby World Cup, you're not going to get on better than that.